5th of July 2024, speculations became real when the bill number 2061 was tabled at Cameroon National Assembly to extend the term of office of members of the National Assembly. That bill is yet to be voted, but it is obvious that it's going to sail through like others have done in the past. This evening we're going to be looking at the implications of the passing and adoption of this bill for our political climate in Cameroon and future elections. We are discussing this with panelists who have joined me in the studio this evening. We are in the company of Mr. Fah Elvis Tayong, who is the Under Secretary for Communication for the Cameroon Renaissance Movement. Good evening. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to all the millions of viewers out there. Special greetings to Professor Maurice Kamto, of course, who have made it clean and clear that we will not be intimidated by any powers that be, because things have to be done the way the law requires, and therefore people cannot act in the place of Elecam and think that we can be intimidated. It will not be business as usual. Well, greetings to the people of Gunoko village and all those from Bengui who are watching us right away. It's my pleasure being here, Mr. Leo. I think that what has brought us here is more serious than the word serious, and I think we will put the cards on the table. Thank you.
Mr. Tazi Alouisius Aka is also part of our panel tonight. We're glad to have you, Mr. Tazi.
Thank you, Mr. Kum, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to discuss issues that are affecting our country and our future. My hope is that we'll be able to handle this with a lot of care, so that politically things will not spill out of hand. Things will not spill out of hand, so that in fact we pray that the politicians should listen to advice and do things the right way, so that everything would move on well and will not have any disorder in the country.
Okay, we are also expecting the arrival into our studio of Mr. Shune, who will be representing the CPDM party, and also expect to get in touch with Mr. Ndifor Richard out there in, we're supposed to connect through Skype later, and I try to see, as well as Dr. Ako John Ako is expected to be part of tonight's panel for this special edition. And so many persons, I'll start with you, Ed Kangaruman. So many persons are already looking at what is happening as a technical knockout for you guys against presidential elections next year.
Yes, I think there is an error somewhere along the line. What you are saying is what people think, many. That's a technical lockout. But the people fail to understand that whether the election is taking place now or is taking place in 2030, one thing is for sure, that under the normal parameters, as per what Elecam requires on eligibility for candidates, especially presidential election, it's very clear that you must either have a councillor, or you have maybe a parliamentarian. That one is true. So whether they're prolonging or not, we don't have any of them, but we are going in. Now the question is, how are we going in for the election? Because Yaoundé, listen, they are panicking, because the question is, how are we going for? Because if they prolong now 1 year after, it will not still give us a councillor. If they prolong 5 years after, it will not still give us a parliamentarian until the elections hold. But the question now is, how are we going to be eligible? That's why Professor Maurice Kamto, in his recent outing, responding to Minat Boss after his conference with governors of the regions in Cameroon, made it clean and clear that Minat will not play the role of Elecam. And he has assured Cameroonians that just go on with your voter registration, because we call this distraction. All is that Cameroonians be rest assured, Professor Maurice Kamto will be a presidential candidate. How he will be, leave it for us. You will see it. The thing is very clear. So coming to that, Mr. Leo, I think that
when you say how it's going to be, are you now talking like a prophet? Are you going to use magic?
No, not magic.
Are you going to follow the laws?
No, it's the law, Mr. Leo.
What laws?
Well, if you say what laws, it means you still want me to come back to answer.
Yeah, because now, the law is very clear. I'll read it out for the
yes,
gone. Yeah.
That's what I've already said here. I've said that as per the law, not so. You don't have a council. You don't have a councillor. You don't have a parliamentarian. You will not go in.
Chapter 3.
Yeah, read.
Nomination of candidates.
Yeah.
Section 120.
Correct.
Says that any candidate wishing to stand for presidential elections shall declare their candidature through a declaration bearing the authenticated signature.
Good.
Their authenticated signature. Section 121, sub 1 says a candidate may be A, either put forward by a political party, B, or an independent on condition that they put forward they are put forward by at least 300 dignitaries hailing from all the 10 regions with 30 signatures from each region.
Correct.
Persons who qualify to append such signatures shall be either members of parliament or of trade chambers.
Correct.
Or regional councillors, municipal councillors, or first class chiefs.
Correct.
That is the first one that you have to assemble this.
Yeah.
The second is the candidate nominated by a political party not represented at the National Assembly 1, the Senate 2, in a regional council or in a municipal council should at least fulfill the conditions laid out under section 121 sub 1b, what we read earlier on.
Correct.
So which one do you guys are you guys going
That's
to
why I said that you just read a text where the answer is found between those texts. I just said the answer is found.
Now, it means that your candidate will come in as an independent.
No. I've just said Mr. Leo that
yes,
time.
it's going to come in as an independent.
That's why I'm saying that, Mr. Leo. What you have read, we will follow the law, not so. Whether we will take sub 1, sub 2, or any of them, all is that you will get CRM standing presidential election. How it will happen, I cannot declare now here because we know how we make it following the law, and that text you just read. You know that Professor Ndifor Franklin, I was his communication officer, right?
Yes.
All right. If I tell you that he hadn't neither a council, nor whatever, but he was in, and how did he come in?
He came in through another party, that municipal councillors.
So if it is possible, it could be possible. But I'm telling you, I don't want to explain to people.
He did not come under his party. He took.
Mr. Leo, you are still not getting me. I have said that. I am just giving you an example.
CRM is going to take another party.
What I'm saying clean and clear is that whether it's through a party or it's respecting the issue of 300 signatures, all is that CRM will be at the presidential election full swing, now or any time. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tazi, are you surprised when you saw this bill number 2061 to extend the term of office of members of the National Assembly?
Honestly, I'm very surprised. Very, very surprised, because if you look at the wave of activities in Africa now, I would have called this bill a risk for Cameroon. I would have suggested that the politicians and the powers that be do things in a different, do everything possible in their capacity to let the electoral calendar be respected, in order not to provoke a situation similar to what's happening in other African countries. So honestly, if you ask me whether I'm surprised, I'm very surprised. Mr. Leo, there's something I want to throw here. I mean, something is happening in Cameroon that surprises some of us. This issue of election, I think Dr. Aku may throw more light on that as a legal mind. What does the Cameroon law say in terms of the sequence of elections? Which election should come up first? Should it be parliamentary election, senatorial election, council elections, or presidential election? Does the Cameroon law provide for the order in which these elections are supposed to hold, or they are supposed to hold in any order? I think that we should start from there, because something has been happening in Cameroon that the law seems not to be respected as supposed to be, and that is a very bad sign that we are sending out. When you start not respecting the law, then you cannot hold somebody lower who is not respecting the law to respect the law. So when something happens, when it comes to these issues, let's look at what the Constitution says, what the Electoral Court says, and try to do things according to the law, so that even the powers that be will be able to call the younger people to order when they are breaking the law. Because if we act on certain instructions, say instructions, and then we forget about the law, I still think that the law in Cameroon should still be no one in Cameroon should still be above the law. So my suggestion would be that we look at the law and we do things according to the way the Cameroonian constitution says and the way the electoral code prescribes.
So you think that this presenting this bill to the parliament is not respecting the law? The law provides for that?
I'm not very clear about that. Well, I started by saying that somebody looked up.
The provision of the law and the mind of the law, I'm telling you that there are things we need to know.
Yes.
Yes.
The problem is the law provides for that, but he is talking about the spirit of that law now.
Law.
Yes.
The spirit of the law.
Yes.
That is what a lot of people like us, we have a bit of worry. The spirit of law, the law states Article 15 is talking of urgency. That in case of urgency, the President of the Republic shall submit to Parliament. And Cameroonians are still thinking what urgency they are in, what nature of crisis we are in, because in terms of government communications, we haven't seen anything of that nature. We don't know the crisis that the government is going through, and basing on what you have just said, like I said several times, carrying the law to a negativity that favors you is not the spirit of the law. The law might have stated something, but there is an order in which it must be followed. And when we look at the laws in Cameroon, I have asked so many people, why is it that the mandate of members of parliament, councillors and municipal representatives are want to be prolonged or extended?
Consistently.
Yes, always. And the government still made us to understand that is based on the crisis. Yes, somewhere one may guess that we mean financial crisis, because the bill table before parliament is saying that budgeting for next year is going to be a bit huge. Government recounted that owing to the fact that this election,
it may be difficult to organize 4 elections next year.
I, as a Cameroonian, sat and asked, how much do we pay parliament in a single financial year? And how much it might have cost us to organize such an election? How much do we pay members of parliament? How do you extend their mandate? And then you wallow on the same financial difficulties.
Yes.
Who explains that? Get into the order of standings of the National Assembly, you see how much everybody benefits as allowances. You are going to be shocked. And that just cutting off one single year of members of parliament's budget, you can run an election. And who even says that 10 elections in a country cannot be organized in a single day? Who have said it's not possible? Who have said it's not possible? It is equally being carried out in many regimes, more complicated regimes than Cameroon, more democratic, populous nations have conducted 5 elections on a single day. And so the claim of a crisis, financial overburden, the urgency of the state, we are not aware, which means that somewhere the system or the government in Yaoundé is trying to dictate and tell Cameroonians that we continue taking from where we cannot, and you will do us nothing. And so they are telling us that they are in a position. You find a lot of members of the ruling party telling you that they are in a position of force. The position of force here comes just one, that they have the military, they have the courts, and they have the prison yard to send every Cameroonian there that contested it. But if we were all civilian, put a nation with a Republican military force, they would have known what happened in Egypt. Many are not aware that the present president was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces that asked Austin Mubarak to leave, and that his days are up because the citizens' demands were constitutional and legitimate. In Algeria, I believe it was equally the general that asked Abdulaziz Bouteflika to step down, that he has overdue. But what do we find in the other side of the continent? Since the nation is one, a continent on its own, their own things are done differently. Extending members of parliament's mandate, I said, is a negative aspect of the law and not in the positivity of that particular law.
Okay.
If we have to act well in a nation that is honest, postpone the presidential election and call off for parliamentary election. Because you know that one of the criteria to be a parliamentary member is that you should score municipal councillors, senators, and parliamentarians. So everybody should be eligible. Every Cameroonian is a legitimate right to vie for the office he wants, following the law.
Okay.
You have to organize municipal and legislative election first before going in for presidentials. If not, then you have erred in the law.
Okay, we also have Ndifor Richard, who is coming in on the cap of the Social Democratic Front through Skype, live from Boya. But let me read this article or the provisions of the Article 15.4 of the Constitution, which stipulates that in case of serious crisis or where circumstances so warrant, the President of the Republic may, after consultation with the President of the Constitutional Council and the Bureau of the National Assembly and Senate, request the National Assembly to decide by law to extend or abridge its term of office. So it's in the Constitution. Good evening, Ndifor Richard. We're glad to have you on Prime Hour. I'll start by asking your take on this law that has been tabled before parliamentarians in Cameroon. Has there been an official statement by the Social Democratic Front and your reading of this move?
Yeah, thank you so much, Leonard, and thanks for having me on the panel this evening. It is always a pleasure to join you, to join the program. Lately we saw the information coming from the party. That information came from the Shadow Minister of Justice, who elaborately explain how the President of the Republic is trying to use the Constitution to his favor and to use that to play with the electoral calendar. You know, I would say, like Barrister Ewane put it, that this is an undemocratic practice, but this is constitutional. Constitutional because it is inscribed in the Constitution, and what is in the Constitution gives the President of the Republic the latitude to do what he can do. But this is something that the SDF has been fighting against for a very, very long time. It is not just today, it has been for a very long time that we have been questioning why the calendar of elections should be held close to the chest of one person who himself is the candidate of an election, and he decides when elections will hold. This has been a very serious problem for a very long time. Unfortunately, nobody is bothered about it until when situations like this come up, then we start talking. Because if we had joined our voices a long time ago to put pressure on the regime to put in place an elaborate calendar for elections in Cameroon that is clear, unambiguous, and one which cannot be manipulated by will, as the President of the Republic is doing, because he alone decides whether he wants. It is true that it is included in the Constitution that he could ask for the mandate of members of Parliament to be extended, but no one knows about it. He takes people by hijack. He takes people by how do they call this? He does it in a way that all the other opponents, all his opponents, all the other opposition parties are taken unaware. He alone knows what he can do at any point in time. Even as we speak right now, we are not even sure about the mandate of municipal councillors, and he's going to, in a few weeks, that is the anticipation everybody is having, he's going to sign a decree to extend the mandate of the municipal councillors. So I think that the opposition political parties, as I keep on saying, we need to be ahead of Biafra all the time. We need to be ahead of him. We need to be able to predict his moves, know what he is able to do at what point in time. Because quite honestly, this is not the first time he's doing this. He did this in 2013. He did it again in 2018 or so, and he's doing it again today. So, as opposition parties, we need to know all these tactics, all these maneuvers, all these moves, and we move ahead of him. The problem with us, the opposition, is that we know these tricks that he has, we know this manipulation that he plays, but we fall into his trap all the time. We keep falling into his trap. We keep failing to learn from the mistake of the past and move ahead. And so what I would think right now is that because we have parliament, which is majority members of the CPDM, they are going to, with relative ease, pass this bill. There is nothing that is going to stop it. It's going to pass it with relative ease, except perhaps we take some other actions that are beyond legislative actions. If we have to just keep complaining, it is not going to solve the problem because the bill is going to eventually pass. So the point I'm trying to make is that opposition parties should know learn how manipulative the regime is, learn how to move ahead of him all the time, rather than wait for him to pull out his card and then we start complaining. It doesn't help. It doesn't serve the Cameroonian people. So we need to be always on our heels, thinking about what next move does this guy want to take, and we go ahead of him. We beat him in his own game. There is no point of noticing that there is a pit here.
You write to him,
and then you go fall into the pit, and then start complaining about somebody who dug the pit. So it is very important for opposition parties, if they are very serious, to start playing the game as Bia is doing. You cannot be playing dealing with somebody who is manipulative, and then you allow him play his game, manipulate his way through, and then you start crying, you start complaining. A lot of people keep asking, why are opposition members not able to be manipulative, to be able to outsmart Bia in his game? Why can't we outsmart him in his game? That is the point.
Okay, why can't we outsmart him at his game? We are talking about the bill to extend the term of office of members of the National Assembly. That is the bill number 2061 that was tabled at the level of the National Assembly on Friday, July the 5th, 2024, and has been making news. And the intent, the government actually states, says such extension is warranted by the need to lighten the electoral calendar, which provides for 4 elections in 2025, namely the election of members of the National Assembly and municipal councillors, as well as the elections of the President of the Republic and regional councillors. In this regard, and apart from the election of regional councillors, the other elections, which are direct ballot, require the deployment of substantial human and material and financial resources. You understand that it's also very expensive to maybe the government's hands are financially tied, going by the justification presented to members of parliament.
Mr. Kum, it's a lame justification. Why do I say it's a lame justification? It is true you have that provision in the law, but when we have those crises linked to financial, first thing is that it is said in common English adage that failing to plan means planning to fail. These are already signs of an end-time regime. It cannot be that all the time that elections are closer, you must extend the mandates of municipal councillors because of crisis or because of financial crisis. I think that since the 2018, when we had the last mandate, or the other councillors who took up their new mandate, it was clear in the electoral calendar that we have elections this year, 2025. I don't think that. Next year rather. So it means that the government is behaving as if the election took them unaware. And that's why I said that when you have a kangaroo system of the highest order, they have managerial errors at all times. A government that let's take a look at it. Apart from this kangaroo clause we have here, talking about you could extend. You will not hear Kenya doing that. You will not hear US of A doing that. If you find a country doing that, it's when they have a disaster that they could not control. You have a natural disaster like serious flood that affects an entire community. You have a justification there. Now you can use this clause to say because it affected baby Douala and thousands of lives were lost, we are trying to rehabilitate them. It's human, that is, it is a natural disaster you cannot predict. In that case, you can even at least show solidarity with the persons by making sure that you propose so you can take care of that humanitarian disaster, that the natural disaster. But then, a situation that you know fully well, Yaoundé, it is not today you know that 2025, all those elections are supposed to take place, from municipal to parliamentary to senatorial to whatever, including regional. It's not today. So when you get those justifications, we call them lame justifications. And as I said clean and clear, when you find bad laws being put in place, just like we have been clamoring at the level of Cameroon movement that the electoral laws should be adjusted, it's because the country, those who rule this country in a 2D, they fine-tuned strategies and clauses in the constitution that they could hang on, interpret in their own way, just like what Dr. Ako said. The spirit of the law is what counts here. Now, what image do you give out? It is true, they said because of this, but even the justification you give, is it really justifiable? Who asked you to allow war in the Northwest and Southwest? A thing that you would have saved ere long if this revendication started by the teacher and the lawyers, and a regime that is normal and fully functional upstairs would have brought things under control ere long. But because they thought that power was all they could use, because they have the military and all the like, see where we are today. Now, I told Yaoundé ere long that the war that you could not contain earlier is costly to the regime. How many improvised explosive devices do we have almost on daily basis? How many of those ammo cars are destroyed? Some of them costing close to $1 billion, about 500 million, and they are damaged. And yet we have risk allowance to all the military personnel and state officials like administrators working in this area. You can imagine the huge chunk of money that leaves the coffers of the state every month. Why will you not have it difficult to run elections? Why will you not have it? Because you created your own errors and you could not condemn them. You could not condone with them. Now you are taking an excuse of crisis whatsoever the case might be. But who allowed the crisis? If the crisis was caused by Boko Haram, I will understand. Because it's external something that we could put under control. But then you make an error, a monumental error and a show of force at the wrong time, thinking that the guns will kill the ideology of those in the Northwest and Southwest. Look at where we are today. And as I said, Cameroonians, it is an indication that A2D has expired in their power. Therefore, controlling Cameroon, their brains are no longer there. That's why it's more reason that I say that whether they prolong or not, Mr. Low, all is that I got Mr. Ndifor saying that opposition parties would have come together to go ahead of public. No, you cannot stop a man that the law says he has the knife and the yam. If I look at what Mr. Ndifor is saying, as he said, SDF had clamored for this and that. What is he proposing that oppositions can do? That they should go and seal A2D? Obviously, we cannot. And so, what the only thing we can do, I was expecting to say that when it happens the way it has happened, let people go continue with their voter registration exercise instead en masse, because it's an indication that Yaoundé regime has failed. So people cannot register more, that is in their numbers, than before. So we unseat the regime in any year they deem necessary to give the election, because they can only prolong their stay, but they cannot stay there because we will unseat those at A2D, come rain, come sun. Yaoundé, listen very well. Thank you, Mr. Liu.
Okay, I want us to look at the implications. Should the bill be passed and adopted? Dr. Ako, you first come before he comes in. What is the implication? Should this bill be passed and then adopted, that elections are moved to next year?
Leonard, is a bit disturbing. If that is not going to be passed, it might be for the first time in the history of the nation. And we should equally know that it is a CPDM majority parliament, and never as a bill be sent back to President Pobia to revisit or to think about it. We have to equally know that the elections, I want to just cue into what the question you asked to Fah Elvis. It is sad that in a country like ours, several times members of government or the opposition parties have insisted on drafting a new electoral code and even changing of the laws. Article 15 of the Constitution is a problem to elections in Cameroon, which means, like I just said here, what refers to a crisis, nobody knows the context of what the crisis mentioned in the Constitution is. And so several times, the government can call it a crisis. in many other regimes, there is what we call Independent Electoral Commission, which means that the calendar of elections is in the hands of Elecam. And it is Elecam, at the beginning of the year, we are in 2024, the bill, finance bill for 2024 was passed at the last session in November 2023, and which means that the budget for elections was mentioned and the money was budgeted. Yes. And if people are coming out to tell us this, doesn't it refer to us that the matters of election need to be taken out from the hands of government, and that you can't equally give elections to be managed by the same person who organizes a football match? He recruits the referees and even appoints member of the video assistant referees, which means that he is a player in a game. He owns the linesman, the referee, and even those who look on the video, he appoints them. This is what is happening. So at the end of the day, he dictates what elections are. And to somewhere you find some Cameroonians telling you that then there is even no need for the election. We should go by other regimes, like we are doing in Russia. So Vladimir Putin presents his bill and is voted alone, or in North Korea, where Kim Jong-un remains the leader, and citizens should know that it's like that. There is no need to spend the budget. We were at the heat of the Anglophone crisis, and even now, we have never been told that because of the crisis in the Northwest and the Southwest, elections will never be organized there. Several times, the ruling party has been winning with 100%, and that has never appeared as a crisis that will affect elections in Cameroon. So somewhere, you realize that the mind of those we call governance or the government are simply there to amass, extend their mandate, keep on taking from the budget of the state. The question I will continue asking is the budget allocated for Elecam for Finance Bill 2024. What will become of that budget now that we don't have any elections? Because extending mandate of municipal councillors, legislative elections, mayors, and the rest, a lot of money is going to stay back in the budget. What are we going to do with it? We have a single election now. We equally don't know. This presidential election, it might not still hold because the same president, maybe because of ill health, will be a serious crisis. And so we can still push the elections to 2027. Because if the first elections in February or March 2024 has been shifted to 2026, there is equally a possibility that we can equally postpone presidential election. Is there any position in the law where we can stop the head of state whose constitution was drafted in his presence, where the electoral bill, whatsoever people are saying, was drafted by him, and that the same people who assisted in the drafting of those laws are still active members of government? How do you defeat such a person? I want to ask, because I was a bit disturbed with what Mr. Ndifor Richard spoke on the other side. That's what they have been saying. That is what they have been doing. I want to ask, how do you change a constitution that was drafted by the same person, electoral laws that were drafted by the same person, and after serious debates, we have said that on this same platform, on this same TV, that the electoral codes, electoral laws in Cameroon are not better off. And I don't want us to go far. When President Emmanuel Macron visited this nation, he said, if we go by the laws of elections in Cameroon, then a Macron type of leader is never possible, because you can still become a presidential candidate without necessarily having representative in parliament or municipal elections. We know how these things function. So the moment such articles are inserted in a law, there is already a prior motive of eliminating those parties that will come later after them, because at the time this bill was passed, they were the majority in all arms of government. So how are we thinking like Cameroonian that there will be a need for the rise of a new political leader? There will be a need for the rise of new political parties. There will be a need for the rise of the youths. Those who think that after 7 years, a child might be 21 now, 7 years time, he's going to be 29. Can you imagine such a child need equally to exercise his political right? You tell him now that 7 years after, since you were not in parliament last year, you have another 7 years. It's going to be 37. By the time those bill comes out, then some of your children and brothers again, you will keep on being majority in parliament. Which telling, like others are saying, and to the shock of my brain, is that a lot of opposition parties are even happy that some opposition party will not be present. And so you find members of the opposition jubilating at such extension, and then coming again at the same time to tell us the dribbler that formed President Paul Biya once more again dribbled Cameroonians. When you find such an idea, what does it give? No, please, we should be honest here. You cannot be a member of an opposition and the president of the republic is dribbling Cameroonians. It becomes an agenda for us to propagate. It gets to the level, honestly, Mr. Leo, please, I came here with a lot of messages to pass. Let me pass this one. We cannot acclaim that we are in opposition and we celebrate a leader that 42 years has been a dictator and a tyrant.
Okay, we have 2 hours, please, and we have just one subject. You have all the time to talk about it. But to say that the dribbler who dribbles was captioned by the Guardian Post. Is the Guardian Post that carried that this in? Yes, but is it possible for our MPs to think otherwise and understand the cry of Cameroonians? Because since this bill was tabled, we've heard outcries from all spheres of our society. Can our MPs reason out with its population?
Mr. Leo, I think that if there's one bill that our MPs should think and maybe surprise Cameroonians by not letting it pass, it should be this bill. Despite, irrespective of their political party, people may laugh because the wave sweeping Africa now. Yesterday I saw Kenyan MPs holding a parliamentary session in the bush. When you push people, Dr. Ako just mentioned that somebody 29, 22 will be 29, 37 as a consequence of this bill. So what message are you sending to the youths? That there's no hope for them. And when you push people to the wall, they'll find alternatives. And the alternatives may not be good for Cameroon. And that's my cry, that if there's one bill that parliamentarians in Cameroon will sit down and reconsider because of the consequences of it, it should be this bill. They should sit down and reconsider it. For me, even tendering that bill that because of financial crisis is unacceptable, I think it's a matter of priority. We may have had some wars in Southwest and Northwest and Boko Haram, but I think that it's a matter of priority because when it comes to the use of money, we still misappropriate a lot of projects are not run. So we cannot think, I don't think that money is really the issue here. I think if we prioritize these elections, we'll be able to organize elections in Cameroon. Coming to what, I'll go back to what Mr. Ndifor said. He mentioned something about the opposition and the opposition being smart and knowing when to act. And I mean, the other day I was thinking, with what happened in the PAP election, in the PAP party, I was thinking, yes, I was thinking, and I was like, this opposition thing, how can we actually get, what is the goal of opposition in Cameroon? Because if opposition in Cameroon were there to really be opposition, as the word implies, then they will be able to find a common ground where all opposition parties can sit down and come out with a common agenda. But this is not the case. The opposition in Cameroon has never been able to unite. So what Mr. Ndifor was saying in Bamenda cannot work because...
No, it's in Boya.
In Boya, rather, I'm sorry. Cannot work because for all this while, it has not been able to, have not been able to talk together. Why do you think that this year they will talk together? Even if they sit together, as Dr. Ako says, my prayer is that the parliamentarians and the government should know that if you look at the government, Dr. Ako mentioned something about Egypt, as in Morocco. Remember, the military leader in Egypt was appointed by that very president.
Yes.
Who was his confidant, that he made the military leader. And that's the guy who turned against him when the population started. So at times, we should not be deceived by the confidence we have in those who are put in positions. We should be careful, because there are moments when the population will stand up, you'll be surprised at their reactions. So my advice is, if there's one bill, Mr. Kum, before I go, that the parliamentarians of Cameroon will surprise us and not let it go. Please, please, let it be this bill, so that we maintain our calendar of 2025 for these elections.
Okay,
that will create down some pressure in Cameroonians.
Okay, but we are not in any way using this platform to call Cameroonians to stand up.
Of course not.
Or calling the military to
of course. Of course not. Yeah. Of course not. I didn't say that.
So those who are good at reporting do not misquote us.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Ndifor, are you there? But I asked earlier on the implications. Should this bill be adopted or voted and adopted? what would be the implication? Implication is that we're not going to have municipal and parliamentary elections next year. So everything boils down to presidential elections next year?
Yeah, that's the implication. But what's even is the fact that regional councillors will have to be elected by the same municipal councillors who voted these current regional councillors. So we'll have a situation where the same regional councillors will vote 2 mandates of regional councillors. I mean, municipal councillors will vote. They had voted these current regional councillors, and they will still have the possibility of voting the regional councillors, because the law does not provide for any provisions anywhere, neither the electoral code, for the extension of the mandate of regional councils. So by implications, it is clear that the regional council will remain. It will not be extended. Their mandate will not be extended. But the problem with it is that the current councillors, municipal councillors, will still be the same people who will vote again for the next regional councillors, which is very, very problematic. Imagine that, because under normal circumstances, the regional councillors, the municipal councillors, we start by electing municipal councillors, who will now in turn elect the new regional councillors. But they will do the same thing, and then those regional councillors that will vote again will be part of those who will now be voting members of the Senate. So you see, those are some of the implications. But let me react very quickly to what I heard Dr. John Ako claiming that some opposition parties are jubilating. I was waiting to hear from him to identify those political parties who jubilated and to tell us in what event they were jubilating, because I have not seen any image of any political party anywhere jubilating. The SDF put out a statement through its shadow minister of cabinet of justice, condemning the move, and I think Damjoya, Tamanum Damjoya, she too put out a statement condemning it. And so it is very important that when we come on a panel like this and we want to make statements, we make statements that are backed by evidence, and we don't just throw words because we are being emotional and sensational. I don't think anybody is happy to see that the current regime is manipulating the electoral calendar the way it is doing. But it is sad to start pitting opposition against each other, because some of us are very good at doing it, and it is not helping anybody. It's not helping neither the opposition or the government. When we to pit the opposition against each other, we are only help the regime. We are not helping the regime, more of the regime for them. So when we come on a panel like this, and we, especially for someone who is a civil society a member, it is very important to encourage collaboration with the with opposition parties, functional collaboration. It may not be coalition, but functional collaboration, because if they can collaborate, they can either work together to stop this bill in one way or the other, without necessarily it going through the parliament. And even if they could not stop it at the level of the parliament, they could find a way to like I said earlier, they could find a way to work together to beat the regime in its game. So it is very important, I reiterate, that we avoid this scenario of always pitting the opposition against each other. It is not helpful to anybody.
Okay, it's not helpful to anybody. But now, going by this the implications of the extension of the mandate of MPs. It is obvious that presidential elections are going to hold next year, and very difficult times for you people of the CRM. Are you particularly targeted by this move, your party?
Yes, we are targeted. As I said, the excuse on crisis as per what the law says in terms of the prerogatives of the President of the Republic. As I said first, it is a lame excuse. I said earlier that when they talk about crisis in general, the first thing they want to let you know is that they have some shortcomings already. As I said, Boko Haram is part of the crisis, North South is part of the crisis, but we know very well that the Northwest and the Southwest, in terms of crisis, is drawing out huge sums of money from the state coffers, whether we like it or we don't like it. I used to tell people that running just a single military base, you go to Mini, we have about 2 different military bases. Muruka, you have a giant military base, West to build even. You come to Ewane, you have a military base. You come to Mwai 14, there is a military base operating in a house somewhere around Mwai 14. And these military bases are dotted here and there. Running just any of them, even if you have a contingent of 10 soldiers to run, means that they have a running budget, which makes it very difficult, whether we like it or not. That is the budget part of it. Now, at the level of the crisis generally, just like what my brother just said, the issues of embezzlement could be part of the crisis because we still have money wasting somewhere and people are not held accountable as supposed to be. That is still another issue of leakages that we have here and there. While the system is in a lackadaisical manner, kangaroo manner, where gendarme posts are here and there, police posts are on the road here and there, everybody is collecting his own money and making his own profit overnight. Now, to talk about whether it's targeting us or not, yes. I want to say that without fear or favor, CRM gives nightmare to the regime. Only party that gives nightmare to the regime as at now. Yet they call it petit parti politique, as they call it in French. But then, if you look at it, what is the reason about all of this? Because the fear is that if municipal election, because they have weighed the temperature on the ground, Yaoundé regime has weighed the temperature on the ground, and you know, if they start with the municipal first, will wipe almost everything that will keep them at a disadvantage stage. They know what I'm talking about. So the first thing is that what? Let us first of all remove that target that is our problem, so that presidential comes first, which is anti-constitutional, while municipal comes after. You would imagine, as we are saying here, that we imagine that regional councillors themselves will get another vote coming in from all municipal councillors supposed to have expired long. They are the ones, which means municipal councillors vote them 2 times. You can imagine. Now, what is happening with all this cacophony? The fear it is that when we have a grip of the councillors on the ground, presidential is finished. They know. So the fear is that what? Let us start hiding behind this clause of the constitution so that we can put presidential first. When a 2D is sure of rigging first and staying there, now they can now use that power they have, a lot of presidential, to now see how they can control the municipal, which comes after the year. But then the target is what? CRM. How do you hold governors' conference? Other political parties are not top on the agenda, but CRM is top on the agenda in disguise. I repeat, in disguise. How do you hold a meeting or you are making a press conference? You take CRM at the top and another opposition party second, and then you hit hard on them. It means that as a minister, all your meetings are only to intimidate a particular political party. Now, waste of time. You don't waste your time for nothing. If you like, whole governors, whole conferences from now until the kingdom come. The truth is that Cameroonians are getting ready. CRM is not sleeping. Even you postpone the elections, we will continue to enter into your bedroom, and before you know it, even those you call your militants will vote the CRM in whatever umbrella we take. So at the end of it, Mr. Leo, we are the target. We know very well. I said sometime on this platform, you want to know parties that make the regime tremble? Call a meeting today. I mean today. Call, just announce, come to my media prime and say, Party A has a meeting at Ndokoti on Saturday evening. 2 days before, the man of military president you find there, you would think that Boko Haram has arrived at Ndokoti. They'll come there 48 hours before time. But take another political party and give the same announcement.
Did your party also make an error by boycotting these elections?
No error at all. I said it's tactical. I have said if you are not in it, yes. I've repeated this thing over and over. I said in our tactical reasons,
yes,
we gave official reasons out.
What has changed from those reasons?
No, what has changed or what has not changed is simply that the message was passed across. Mr. Leo, I've said in politics.
But nothing has changed.
No, Mr. Leo, in politics, unless you are in the party.
But you find yourself in difficulty because of that tactical.
I did not say we have a difficulty, Mr. Leo. If I tell you that CRM will stand the election, I don't know whether you want to climb on us the belief. You want other belief. We have said we are going for all the elections. How we are going to go is not the problem of the journalists because the tactic remains with us.
No, it's
now,
my problem. My problem is to educate the audience.
That is why we have made an official statement to the public that continue with your voter registration, don't be distracted. Because CRM will be present for all the elections. A tactical move we took is helping us now. If I tell you the regime now is trembling because of the tactical move we took, and now they don't know how we are going to come back. But as I said earlier,
okay,
if you hold a meeting with governors and CRM is at the center, it means it's a party to reckon with.
Okay.
Mr. Leo, announce any other party that the minister will hold and that party will be at the center. None. It's to tell you that they know that they have a force to reckon with. Okay. Let them postpone the election to 2050. When the time comes, Yaoundé, we will unseat you whether you like it or not.
I'm sure presidential elections will hold next year. Was that move actually tactical?
Yeah, well, I will insist that the leadership of that party knows what they were doing.
Okay.
And having Mr. Fah Elvis as one of the bureau members, it equally comes to consolidate my position with my thoughts. And if you watch or listen to what I've been saying of recent, postponing election will not change the position of any political party. Yeah. No opposition party is going to change. I don't know what people may be thinking. I know very well that Moise Kamto will be a candidate comes the presidential election. Simple. I'm not a member of the MRC, and people should know that. I don't know how he's going about it, but the law still provides a possibility for them to participate in election. All what we are doing
what provision of the law?
That you have read there. You have read there. I don't need to insist on it. One, they can take another party and they will be there. Okay. Two, they can take the signatures and they will be there. Yes. And all is possible. There is no impossibility. And I want Cameroonians to know that the country that we are, the continent, nothing is impossible.
Okay. The continent.
Yes. So they are going to be there. And one of the things again, I was happy about it. You don't even know. The celebrated part. I never intended to share it with any political party, but I will do it because that's my position. As a civil society activist, it is equally going to be the first time that a lot of mushroom, briefcase political parties will be eliminated in the next elections. And that if you're not serious already, you will not be there. And do you know what it means? A strong-based coalition among the few oppositions that will be present in the next election. Be careful. The results might be embarrassing. And if they work well, as I'm happy about it, we're not going to have 16 political parties. We mean those who are not satisfied, that as you know, they're eliminated. Yeah, so the few or five that will be.
Are you not harsh calling some political party mushroom political
no, we are
party?
Not, Mr. Leo, should I be telling you that there are parties that exist with our headquarters?
Is it not anti?
No, Mr. Leo, please let's go quietly. We are not. Are you not aware that of the 360 political parties, you don't talk about even 10? I should not be the one who should be honest. That others don't even have an office. That they live in their room with their back and call them party leaders. Should I be talking here with water in my mouth? No, I don't do it. But you know it. And I'm happy. I said next election, presidential.
Some leaders will not be happy with you.
Yeah, I don't want to know now. I'm giving you an opinion. If you are one, I lied already. Yeah. You are pushed for a coalition. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The moment you know that we are not fit, form your coalition. Form behind those who are ready. SDF is there. MRC is coming up. Find the other UNDP, FSCN, Front Social,
the CDU,
the UPC, they are there. I'm happy at this law, Mr. Lo. If we use it well, from opposition is going to triumph.
From his analysis, this is also a blessing in disguise to actually sift the opposition.
And to buttress his point, one of the advantages that we can take from that will be, I'm sure that the recession period will be extended too for those elections. I don't know.
No, it will.
No, I don't say registration for the municipal. Yes.
For, yeah,
for presidentials, It's next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
It will end in August, and then they open.
They open again next year.
Yeah, so if it is extended, fine. Otherwise, it will also give room for more those who are dragging their fees to register. And we're here to tell people, I mean, it is not, we don't give up with these things. We tell people, go and get your registers, your registration, your voters card at hand. Whatever the case, like Mr. Fah says, whenever the election comes up, you go and demonstrate your civil right and vote at any level that you will. So while we are trying to do all what we are doing here, one message should go through: get yourself registered for the elections. Whenever the election comes up, have your voters card in your hand. And Mr. Liu, I think that there's a saying that if you have to do something, do it, because no matter you postpone it, you still end up doing it. So I don't think that this postponement is helping any Cameroonian in any way. Not the government in the budget, not the opposition, not everybody. I think if we have to do it, we'll let it go. We'll do it next year, and we'll do our election next year, and we'll let it go. If the bill goes through, the elections will be pushed to that's some of the elections will push to 2026. Fine. But I don't think that it is for the advantage of Cameroon, be it economical or political.
Okay. Before we move over to you, Mr. Ndifor, if there's a way for you to lighten up your image, because it's actually dark, I want him to come in again, because he raised a point of actually sanitizing the political sphere. When you say it is going to kick some of the mushroom parties, are you saying that, okay, if we are to go by the independent, because majority would not qualify, owing to the fact that they do not have elected
municipal councillors, MPs
and like. Now, are you saying that it would require someone who is actually very tough to be able to stand as an independent candidate?
You are very correct.
Okay.
Now you are very correct. And I want you equally to know that the same law demanding for independent candidates has said the same individual cannot endorse more than one candidate in the same election.
Correct.
You can get it again. Yep. Which means somewhere, if your signature as a chief in Marwa has been given for Mr. A, you cannot sign the list of Mr. B.
Correct.
So just one signature is given. Just imagine that. The strict rule of this law, that's why I said we used to be honest, and we need to be honest to ourselves. That is the spirit of the law, so that those who are not tough for the process are eliminated naturally by the law, and those who go ahead, what is going to happen? It's normal that SDF has parliamentarians, and no matter how I do, I cannot compare again, I cannot pick up from this place. I need to align with SDF in the area. And like what you have just watched with the French municipal election.
The UDC has elected
officials. The UPC serving, the PCRN, they have it. Can I align there? What is going to happen? You are going to find a stiff opposition in the next election. And if we are honest, I'm telling you, the results might be baffling. Because if I'm stronger in the north, and I have just my family in the north, and I decided to give you my vote where you were not present, there's a possibility that in the next election, you might pick some votes in those areas. Okay. Because I'm now communicating your message to my people. Okay. Knowing very well that I cannot stand.
Mr. Ndifor, you are this SDF Shadow Minister of Justice, explores the contours of tenure elongation of MPs of National Assembly and municipal councillors. I will want to read what your Shadow Minister of Justice had to say with respect to this. Honorable Ngam, SDF Shadow Minister of Justice, says the extension of office bearers' terms of office by law, decree, and not through elections is a sign that the ruling party is laying the groundwork for an extended power grab. The ruling regime is laying the groundwork for yet another smash and grab. They are carefully using laws and decrees to pick loyalists in positions of power at all levels for the next decade, a way to guarantee that they are in charge come what may. A bill has just been tabled in the National Assembly to the effect that the mandate of parliamentarians of the National Assembly will be extended from the 10th of March 2025 to the 30th March 2026. The strategy behind this may not become obvious at the first, but then there is a clear intention there to lock in the next group of people who will take over the Senate and regions. In other words, the presidency in case of vacancy and the regions where decentralized power now lies. statement. From the explanatory statement in Bill number 2061 to extend the mandate of members of National Assembly and the imminent extension of the mandate of MPs of the National Assembly, it is expected that the mandate of municipal councillors will be extended sooner or later. While the extension of the mandate of members of National Assembly is backed by Article 15 or sub 4 of the Constitution, the mandate of municipal councillors can be extended by decree of the President of the Republic for a period not exceeding 18 months pursuant to Section 170 sub 2 of the Electoral Code. Okay, you say your shadow Minister of Justice says bad precedents. The habitual extension of mandates of MPs of the National Assembly and municipal councillors runs against the core election principles, notably according to which elections have to be periodic. Article 21 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, respect of the electoral calendar has to be the norm. Curiously, the mandate of municipal councillors have always been extended since 2002, while MPs of the National Assembly have had extensions in 2013, 2018, and 2024. What is more, there are no legal provisions extending the mandate of regional councillors. Considering that regional councillors are elected through indirect universal suffrage, in disregard of the core election principle of direct universal suffrage by municipal councillors, the logical and natural outcome of an extension of the mandate of municipal councillors will be that the incumbent municipal councillors will elect regional councillors for 2 mandates, 10 years, that is 2020-2025 and 2025 to 2030. This will also have a domino effect on the outcome of the 2028 senatorial elections, leveling the play field. The ideal objective should be strict allegiance to the electoral calendar, with elections conducted when due. However, if the government is keen to extend the mandate of MPs and municipal councillors, complementary measures should also be taken to extend the mandate of regional councillors. Any contrary disposition will only translate into a complete and total hijack of the will and aspiration of the people. Okay, that was the SDF Shadow Minister of Justice. Now, Ndifor Richard, we already know that what is going to happen next year is that presidential elections are going to hold. Should the opposition now redesign its strategy, knowing fully well that we can now have an idea of those who can stand these elections?
Well, that would be the logical thing to do, and the smart thing to do for any serious opposition, that is a group of opposition that is united. At this stage, one will expect that these different opposition parties will now go to the drawing board and start re-strategizing, to start asking the question, which political parties do have councillors and municipal members of parliament, and who can actually file in candidates for the election. That would be the logical thing to do if we are talking about opposition coming together. They will now rally together and then see how they can, among these political parties, single candidates, and then run behind that single candidate, and then put in a transitional period per se, where they can work out a strategy of changing the laws as it is in their favor. But as we know how the Cameroon opposition operates, that is not going to work that way, because everybody will want to somehow come in their own way. And so what will probably happen, in my opinion, is that maybe they are going to hire some candidates who may not have the ability to file in candidates. Some political parties that may not have the ability to file in candidate, what they will do will be to hire maybe smaller political parties with maybe some candidates, and they will run. So what we will see at the end of the day is that we'll still see this marriage of opposition parties, so many of them coming in as candidates for the election. It is going to be, it's not going to be, I am not suspecting to see anything very, very different from what it has always been over the years.
Okay, you want something? Okay.
Yeah, the issue is that, like I just said, there is a need for re-strategize.
Okay.
There is a need for re-strategize in the sense that those who think that they will be available for parliament need to bring out a new strategy, maybe rally. They should start looking for those political parties that are present in the field that have been actively working, and maybe they will not be there. And without fear of favor or egoistic tendency, somebody might have been rejected, but then he controls and has the public with him. And there is no need. Why you would think that you are qualified, such a person cannot be the leader of your coalition because your party is represented in parliament or is having councillors. The next election is to shape the political opinion and to know how many Cameroonians are with or against. Without any other thinking, some people already have that majority in the field. And others who are in parliament, like you see them very happy when you said, can the bill receive a negative answer from parliament? Never. The parliament we are having, if they can even go on for the next 15 years without elections, people will celebrate new marriages. Others have new projects that they intended to complete. Others are thinking that by 15 years' time, some of their children need also to become senators. And so they will think that they need to stay there until their children take over. So there is a need to shape up the new political atmosphere. And as I said, if opposition parties are wise, we should step down from that armchair position in the fact that I am the oldest political party, I am the majority political party, I started politics before you, I constructed when you were still a student, and look at those who control the political and public opinion now. Why not assign them to control? We have seen people stepping into politics for the very first time, and they have that popularity. What the party needs, your party needs a mandate that is recognized, and it can only be achieved by those who have the number. Politics is the game of number. You cannot go by old age and doing the same thing and thinking of achieving a better results. It doesn't go. So if we have new brain, okay, Dr. Ako is coming into the SDF next year, and I wish to be a parliamentarian for Yumo Jog subdivision. We need to contest with those who we see around, no matter how old you are in the SDF. I say, please, I would like to be the SDF flag bearer for Yumo Jog. If those other people has a better popularity than me, fine. But if not, Dr. Ako is fitted to carry the party ahead in that area. It is a game of politics and number. There is nothing like old age or we were there before them. And this is what we want to encourage. There is a need for a strategy. Why not? Our coalition is very much available and open to all political platforms. This is what we encourage. Political tolerance, and see into those who can deliver rather than those that were there and results have not changed. So this is the strategy I'm talking. Get into other political parties, filch out those that were not qualified, will not be qualified for the next election, bring them to your platform and promise them the token from your party that is represented in parliament. It might change something for such political parties that have never gained a position or the view or the popularity that is demanded by politics.
Okay. Mr. Fah Elvis Tayong, what should be the strategy for the opposition? We have spoken for years on this very platform on the need for a coalition or a strategy. Do you have a clearer picture now on how the opposition can function? Because whether you like it or not, we had so many persons who were talking about presidential elections, president this, without weighing their capacity to run. Now it is very clear that without elected officials or your capacity to mobilize 300 signatures, not just signatures from anybody, but from... Yes. So can we now see that the opposition has a clearer picture on how they can work together?
Yes, I think that the opposition has a clearer picture. They know how they can work together. The question is, how practical is it? If you ask all the politicians, even those opposition parties that will give you one idea to the other, the truth that they know the reality on the ground. And what is the reality? Some of the opposition parties, not all, don't have what it takes to be honest in that political coalition. And what is the honesty all about, Mr. Leo? The aspects of because if you look at, let me take for example, between America and Russia, they know who is stronger at one point in time. Between America, Russia, and Israel, they know where each other has that prowess. That is why they don't dare into things that can jeopardize the peace of one another. And that's why you see Russia will attack Ukraine, but America cannot attack Russia. Germany cannot attack Russia, but France can attack Libya. Germany can attack Libya. France can attack any French African country because they understand the progress of each other. Now, the same thing for politics, Mr. Leo. What is killing the opposition, which I keep saying, is that there is that aspect of dishonesty. We know our different weights, but as I tell you, Mr. Leo, there is no way you can go into a coalition. Take for example, there was a time that SDF had a coalition with Yondo Black and a host of others. But I told an SDF militant that in that coalition there was no way you would have choose somebody away from Nijon, because he had the capacity. Then he had the progress. He had the support nationwide. And so if 3 people came together, including Yondo Black, there's no way that even if Nijon had said, let them choose Yondo Black, followers of Nijon would have preferred to give their votes to CPDM. Because we asking, what am I seeing? We think we are with you, and now you are instead telling us to come with this person. So what does it mean? It means that we know our strength. No matter the grammar we blow on media every day, if 5 opposition parties come together, they know that this person has the stamina that it takes to lead this coalition and withstand this regime. But because of egocentric tendencies, another will tell them, no, I should be the leader, when he or she knows very well, I mean fully well within the political landscape, that it will be difficult to tell an elephant to follow a fly. Because in politics we don't have equal strength, and that's a reality us politicians who don't want to believe. Once we know where our power starts and where they end, it's easier that if we are meeting on this table as coalition, if I discover that Mr. Leo is more powerful than me, I simply align with him. But I tell him that, why align with you, please? Can you allow Boya for me in this coalition?
Those are concessions.
While maybe Dr. Ako, can you allow Mafe for me, or allow this area? It becomes in a consensus manner. But the reason why it doesn't work is that when the coalition is coming up, people forget about the fact that there are people who have staminas, and they think that they can just stand and want to say that, no, I should be on the top. And I tell you that there's no way an elephant will get there one day and tell a lizard that, no, you should lead me. It's an impossibility, because the elephant itself knows that he has what it takes to protect that particular lizard, and not the lizard protecting the elephant the other way around. So these are the realities on the ground. So the simple way forward is that if opposition parties understand, because even some of them that have stamina yesteryears don't have the stamina now. While some parties that just came today have the stamina more than those who have been of yesteryears. It takes just honesty. Please, we come together. I understand that you have what it takes. I allow you, be in front here. But at this level, can you allow me here? Once the consensus is done, we beat the whole thing down. But the question is, how many of them are ready? Because some of them are still living on past glories. 1990 is not now. Times have changed. 1990 is not now. You put 1990 that time, all of us will be behind you. But now, Mbano, things have changed, that now you will be taking number 50 behind. If there are 50 candidates, and while the party that just came yesterday will be taking number 1. So it takes honesty, Mr. Leo. With honest minds.
When I get your point, and I get where you are driving at. Should this still be the spirit? Because here we are looking at the possibility to stand elections. When you say some people are living on past glories, are we not looking at who is qualified to stand? Because you may want everybody to stand behind you, but you may not, at the end of the day, not be able to raise even the 300 signatures. And you may still just dash the hopes of people, because even if the whole I think I said something a while ago. Okay, that you guys have
I don't know, maybe it looked like Mr. Lewis is skeptical about us. I said something a while ago. Whether we are getting 300 persons to fill our forms, or we are going to another political party. All is that CRM will stand the next election, even if it is called now. I mean now, not tomorrow. So nobody should be able to shiver on our part, because if you see us moving, we know where we are coming from and where we are heading to. And that's why those who know that we are coming towards them will start becoming skeptical. That's why they have to use provision of the law to start shifting elections and playing as if we are doing as if we are making what we call gambling. But at the end of it, Mr. Liu,
your word is quite correct. You have signed a pact with one party that has elected officials. It's clear. It is clear. It is clear. It is very clear.
We have done that long ago.
We have done that long ago. That's why I said that. Whether we did that long ago or not, there is no way Mr. Liu can want to find out from us how we will come to power.
That's why I said what.
We
are not coming. I don't want to get you off. What we should know is that there are already members in the coalition of the MRC that are voted parliamentarians. And there's nothing that will change that. Their candidate in the same platform will be the same person they are in alliance with.
No, but the MP is.
But
no, I'm not telling you that. He an MP.
No, he cannot.
No, he cannot. We cannot use his party. He cannot because he's no longer a member of that party. Nobody.
Yes.
Are you talking of the party or the individual?
No, he cannot work that way.
No, you know he has his own political party now.
I understand where you guys are. It's not
so
because
I'm saying that
on the ticket of the SDF. They cannot use it.
Cannot. But that's why I'm saying that you have just read the electoral.
I know where you guys are.
Our electoral positions. We have possibilities. Just what Dr. Ako said a while ago. The possibilities are there, and we will use those possibilities as prescribed by the law to stand.
The outcome will be dangerous.
Okay, the outcome.
If we continue what we are fanting like that,
the outcome may be dangerous, but let us also pray that something is not still modified in the constitution.
They were modified in spirit. Let
me come because the possibility and the confidence that I know is that you guys have struck a deal with a party that has either a municipal councillor or
why don't you think that we can come independent? I'm just asking Mr. Leo, why do you think we must necessarily struggle?
I'm struggling to
queue now. We are struggling. I want to give us a position we're taking.
I'm trying to.
The state will not be in a position until we take them unaware. It is simple.
They are aware.
No. I'm saying that. I'm saying that.
Yes, Mr. Leo.
You guys have entered into a partnership with one party.
That is what you think.
I already know. Anyway, I don't know.
You are an insider than me.
Let me
confidence is coming.
You have read the provisions. Okay. We will follow that provision you just read, and we will be eligible. Simple.
I'm struggling to cue you.
Cue, sir.
Yes, I'm saying that. Now, the possibility is for you guys to take another party that you have already struck a deal with. That is it. But there's also a possibility for that electoral law to be touched again, to say that before you lead in a presidential position of a party, you should have militated within the party for 3 years. Because
so that's why you're suggesting to a Yaoundé. It's like you're giving suggestion to Yaoundé now.
I'm preparing your mind, sir.
No. It's like you're giving Yaoundé. That is why they should use to help us out. Mr. Leo, it's not dangerous. Are you with us or you are against us?
You see, you have exposed.
No, you are giving a
You cannot say that the government will now change now because they want to knock us out. No. The laws are there unless we are talking about another magical thing. We will follow the law as you have just read and be eligible. Un point, enter.
Mr. Kum,
so finally, I know where
you scared?
No. He has finally accepted what I was. And I use a strategy for him to come.
You are using a strategy which I have not told you that I will use. You cannot use what in the mouth.
You have just
I keep announcing. No, I am not scared. I've told you here that the law you just read is the law we shall follow.
Political.
You are giving a proposal,
which is dangerous for democracy.
Yes.
Because you are not telling Yaoundé that they should go and change that law.
To change the law of election.
Please, we are journalists.
Okay.
We are journalists. Before this mandate stuff came, rumors were already circulating, and finally we saw it. Okay. So we may have had
some rumors,
information also. So when we are bringing it out, we are not giving strategy. I'm not sure I'm qualified to give strategy to this
political
government.
parties.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm just Mr.
Leo,
please.
Come rain, come so we are ready.
Any
strategy they put in place, we will overcome.
Yeah, we are talking about a strategy for the opposition.
Yes, I think that the strategy for the opposition, first it will be that let the opposition take a proper assessment of themselves. Those interested in a joint strategy, you take a proper assessment of yourself. Know your capacity, know your popularity, know your areas where you are strong before you go to that table. So that on that table you'll be saying, okay, I'm trading off this for this. Now when you see that, if you take a proper assessment of the political parties on the table, everybody will know what percentage, let me use percentages, that he carries. You could use those analyses to say, okay, based on this we take popularity as Dr. Ako says, it is a game of numbers. What is a game of numbers? So, okay, if you try to take these statistics, you realize that Party A, Party C is more popular, has a larger population than Party A. Even though we are coming under the umbrella of Party A, Party C is stronger in terms of followers than Party A. So you sit down, you agree, so okay, we negotiate for the post of this position. Let's put the candidate of Party C as our representative, say at the presidential election. Then we come back now, we say, okay, for this position, this other position, Party A, that you own this license under which we are running, the next powerful position, based on the numbers, we can give it to you. Then for this Party B, in your jurisdiction, will make you parliamentarian. You come out with that strategy internally. Mayor, parliamentarian, okay, senator, you distribute and then you come out now, you come out with an open statement.
No,
then
we take you are president, this one is prime minister.
Yes. And then you do that for whatever election you are doing. If for president, you don't even need to announce who is parliamentarian, who is prime minister. You just announce that for this coalition, this is our presidential candidate. We're all trained and wait behind him. Then you go back now to your various political followers and you announce to them that, okay, for this reason, all of our votes are going for this person, for this position. But there's a source of because I've noticed that political parties in Cameroon, I'm guessing, they don't trust each other. So one of the ways, what I would suggest is that at that level they could have an internal memorandum, an internal agreement that they sign amongst them in the background. That okay, now that we are promising Dr. Ako, parliamentarian for Akwaya, we will not tomorrow when we have voted Mr. Kum, the president, he decided no, the Akwaya position will not go again to Mr. Ako, to Dr. Ako. You have that internal agreement that you've already stated all of that, and all of you have signed. Yes. Behind, then you declare the candidate you think is more popular in front. You throw your votes behind. I think it's a strategy that can work if they are really. I don't belong to any political parties. If there's honesty and you really think that you want to serve the purpose for which opposition parties are meant for. Yeah.
Okay. Ndifor Richard, your shadow cabinet justice member actually is not happy with this move. But are they sincere? Are they not hiddenly also happy that their mandates, especially the MPs of the Social Democratic Front, as well as other opposition parties, are they not happy somehow?
Well, Leonard, I don't want to sing it as you may be happy. Happy about what? I've already said here that
the mandates were supposed to end next year. They are going to stay there till 2026.
A regional council that will be voted by the same councillors for 2 mandates. You vote the same councillors for 2 mandates. No political party will be happy about that. The SDF wants to get into regions too. The SDF wants to have regional councillors. And that is where they are affected by these bills. Because all we are looking at is presidential elections, and we are failing to look at these other local elections. The SDF wants to run regional councils. And so when we have this kind of extension, what happens is that these councils, these municipal councillors are voting 2 mandates. Now let me come back to this issue of a lot of things were going on, and I tried to intervene, and it looks like there is no way for me to intervene within this. But I had a lot of things from the Kangaroo Man and Dr. Aku and the other panelists. And what I come out with is that there is a lot of arrogance in their approach. they are spilling out this arrogance. Let me not even use my party. Let me use a party like the CDU of Tamanyo Ndamjoya. Let us assume, for the purpose of assumption, that at the end of the day, the MRC, for example, does not have the councillors or the MPs and do not qualify. And then Kanto moved to Ndamjoya and start telling her, look, you know I have the popularity, you just have to give me the position as a candidate for your party. That is arrogance, and that is the problem that is killing the opposition. You approach with negotiation, with humility. First of all, you can have all the popularity you have on earth, and if you do not qualify and you are not eligible, your party is zero. The popularity has nothing to say here because it has nothing, absolutely nothing to play. You cannot come with your popularity that has no role to play on whether you are eligible or not, and you want to be arrogant. You need to be humble. You need to be to humble yourself while you approach the people who do qualify, and you negotiate. I emphasize the word negotiate. You don't come and start telling Ndamjoya, oh, you are living in past glories. Stop living in past glories and make me your candidate. That is arrogance. That is arrogance, and that is the same thing that has been killing the opposition over and over. When you listen to Dr. Ako speak, you listen to the kangaroo man, you only hear arrogance. And that is not helping the opposition. It's not helping the opposition. We need to be humble. We need to speak in language of negotiation. Talk about negotiation and not spilling words that already start getting even those political parties who may even be considering start stepping behind. It is not helpful. It's not helping anyone. So that is the point I try to make, Leonard.
Okay, that's the point you are trying to make. After this bill is voted and adopted, what would be the next strategy of the Social Democratic Front? Though your shadow cabinet minister says he's not happy with the move by the government.
Yeah, for now I cannot tell you that if you
looks like we have issues with the network here. Okay, the issues of network. Now, when we read this, I don't know. We can assume that there is war that is ongoing in the southwest and northwest regions today, which is a crisis, and we have the Boko Haram crisis that's also going up there. But when we look at the presidents here, we are meant to understand that 2020, the previous elections, as enumerated here, we have 2013. We had extension of mandate, 2018 extension of mandate, which means that this has been going on for so long, even without the Anglophone crisis, without this.
With the Anglophone crisis.
No, even without. No, I'm talking at the time without the Anglophone crisis to even suppose that there is a crisis today and up north. Now, even previously, was this also not a sign for you guys, Fah Elvis Tayong, that this is what the government has been doing for the past 3 elections, and that there is a possibility that this was going to happen, and by boycotting these elections, should the mandate extension be done like it has happened in the past, you guys are going to be faced with what you have. Okay, but you say there is no problem, you guys are going.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have equally accepted that it's a political strategy and it might not change anything.
Yeah.
The MRC will be present in all elections.
The way you speak like an MRC member.
Yeah, I don't know what people are saying. I'm telling you exactly what is going to happen.
Are you a consultant? Are you a consultant with them?
Like an activist and somebody who is doing consultation. Nothing in the law stops MRC from participating in the next election. And as I'm saying that we are here, those who are not aware should know and note it, that Moise Kamto will be a presidential candidate except otherwise. In the presence of the present law, President Moise Kamto will be a candidate. So the debate on social media or TV, whether they will be not there, it's not even no longer necessary. What I want us to talk on more media now, how is the new law going to assist opposition to gain a more stronger position?
That's what
I said the topic now should not be whether eliminate parties, but how is it going to strengthen Cameroon?
I want you to go further.
Okay.
Which means that going by the law as it stands today, Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel may stand for election.
Still be a candidate.
The
political party,
stand.
the USDB.
Everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
There's still a possibility in the spirit of the law.
Okay.
The law has not. Because those of us who interpret law, I will not like to sound negative with the law.
Yes.
We look at the positivism of what the law has.
The law still provides for them to stand.
For them to stand.
Yes.
The law has made it himself.
Yes.
And one of the things I want us to know is that within this particular law, the oppositions in the past, if you are not aware, that the presidential elections, they used to present us with 16, 18 candidates. Yeah. Do you know it was a strategy to divide the opposition? And that they know in no cause will the 18 candidate beat the ruling party. Yeah. And if now by the natural laws of their own mind, they have decided to eliminate and limit number, I said, now the opposition has a lot of work to do. If you cannot stand, you know already that I cannot get 300 and there's somebody having. Somebody has councillors, meaning I can go for him. Somebody, it goes. The position of the opposition in Cameroon is going to be more stronger in the next election. But I'm not saying, like sometime you made an aside here, that they should start looking already how to fight it back again before that time. I don't think Parliament will have time to sit again and propose a new bill that will negate this particular one that the law has provided. It is good. I have been one of those persons that have been thinking that for Cameroon to be strong, there is a need to even eliminate parties, not only for presidential, municipal, legislative, and senatorial elections. That not all the parties should participate. There should be a limit.
Democratic, eh?
There is a limit. That is what I've said in all elections. If you don't have a councillor, you should not stand for municipal election. If you don't have a parliamentarian, you will not run for legislative election. If you don't have a senator in the former house, you don't go for senatorial election.
Accepting. It means that you should not stand because you don't have.
Yes, and say the spirit of the law to build opposition for the opposition to work. Yes.
When there's that provision,
this man is against you people. Oh.
No, I'm not.
No. And that's what I'm telling you.
Just giving his point of view.
I'm not.
When there's that provision.
This man is against you people. Oh.
No.
I'm not. And that's what I'm telling you.
Just giving his point of view.
I said if we have to change the law.
He said you people should not participate because you don't have.
Mr. Yo. He's giving a point of view.
I said the law.
I said it's correct.
I said the law should be this.
But it cannot.
If we need to be like the UK or the Americans, if you don't have a councillor in council election, you don't participate in municipal election. It should go by that. And the game will be clear. When are we doing that? We want to cement the position of the opposition than allowing a single party manipulate all the legislative organs of the nation. And I believe very strongly, if I'm taken as a special advisor to President Paul Biya as a legacy, is that Cameroon should not have more than 4 candidates in presidential elections.
Okay.
And I believe very strongly that the best will come out of Cameroonians.
I see from Dr. Ako, he rather sees what has happened. He sees something very positive. Yes,
very positive.
You see it also?
Yeah. Before I come to that, I want to go back to
Ndifor.
Mr. Ndifor Mboya. Mr. Ndifor fails to understand that politics is a game of number. If for instance, another political party approaches the person who is, I don't know I can take the example, but if I say if you approach, for instance, you are very more popular, they approach somebody who has a smaller number and you are going to a coalition, it will not make sense to take the person who has a smaller number to lead that coalition, because the person who has a bigger number has more followers and there are the many votes that gives you the strength. So it is not how old you are or how I don't know what other parameters you may use.
Financially buoyant.
Yes, in coalition, in political coalition, the person who has more following, who can provide more votes, it should be the leader, at least at the top. Then you make concessions under. The other person who gave you maybe the license to enter, you give him some conspicuous positions under. Simple. So it's a game of number. It's argument of whether people are, I don't think that he's missing that point of game of number. Coming back to your question, Mr. Liu, you said Dr. Ako sees a lot of positivity in the law. For me, any situation that is very bad, if you look critically, I was taught this by a Greek, a very famous Greek ship owner. He told me that when there's a big war, he looks critically, he also sees a silver line there, and when he passes there, he makes a lot of money. So in this law, if we are assuming that this bill passes because of the CPD majority in the parliament, if the opposition parties can sit down and take advantage of it and synergize and do it consciously without any selfishness, you measure your strength. You know that this is my strength.
That is a simple thing. The honesty.
This is my strength. You should know your strength. Put all the strength. Tell us, okay, for this reason, you take this position because of your strength. You take it because of your popularity. You synergize and sit down. You present the candidates. I'm sure that you can make changes. But otherwise, I'm afraid, if we think that of our popularity, we think of how old we are and all of that, we may not. Something happened the other day. I'm sorry to go back to it. When I learned of what happened in the PAP party, I was very, very disappointed, because there are times that there are certain people that you may not like them, but the following they have created, you have to be very careful when you turn your back at them, because in politics too, people get up to the level where their distractors cannot bring them down. It happens in politics. There are certain people that they have worked so hard that they have made a repetition that you cannot bring them down.
It's a fact.
Yes.
Look at what has happened with Trump over the years.
Yes.
Trump.
Yes. You cannot bring them no matter what you do in politics. So you have to always take that assessment before you take certain decisions in politics. You have to take that assessment, and if you get it wrong, you crumble.
Yeah.
If you get it wrong, you crumble. So when we are talking about this coalition thing, even at the level of our parties, in every political party, this goes to you, sir, who is a politician. In your party, you should need to know the strength of your members.
For sure.
There are certain positions that you may stand for that another person may not like, but may not be able to stand for certain factors. You must admit.
Reality.
You must admit that for this position he has more potentials than me. Yes. You can make a concession with you. Okay, as I'm giving you this one, make sure that when it comes to this, you will give me. That's it.
Correct. Very correct.
So in politics, we have to be realistic and be honest, because if you take emotions, you lost everything. You lost everything. So that is the strength of this law. The strength of this law, in my opinion, is that we get the opportunity to get more people to register. We get the opportunity to give people courage that all hopes are not lost. The opposition has a window to synergize, and everybody knowing his strength, we synergize, will come out with candidates that we think that the following will fall after them. And then we can be surprised that the opposition will achieve their goal. Yeah.
That what we have not achieved in the past 20 years is going to change.
Okay.
If we continue looking at this law more on a positive side of it, the opposition is going to defeat and even cause trouble to the ruling government. Okay. Honestly, I believe if we put the resources,
did you follow the outing of Honorable Nietzsche?
Yes.
He's out of the country, where he said, 2025, ça passe ou ça casse. It means that things will work the way we want, or everything is going to be destroyed. Are you comfortable with that outing, with such an outing?
Well, I think that for me, I will not be comfortable with it. But I said everybody has a right to his opinion.
No, he was saying, speaking as the spokesman of the coalition that your party.
Yeah, but let me say something clear here. Probably we might not be understand the statement well. Let me come the other way around now. Now, you know, the statement coincides with a slogan. It will not be business as usual. You've asked me several times what is the meaning of that. And I think even when we talk about that, Yaoundé trembles over it. When we talk about that, it simply means that no matter the decision the state takes, we will be very ready. And not we are very ready. That's why in one of our slogans, even before what Honorable Nyinchi said, we said earlier that we are ready before or during the next election. Now, if they want to prolong it, we'll only adjust the statement. we are ready now, or even after the normal election period, which is 2025, which might go to 2026, we will still be ready. But then one thing is for sure, in any statement you get from what Honorable Ninja is saying, what we are simply making is that it's a statement we are fighting back because we know that Minat is fighting us. That we are sure. Yaoundé knows what I'm talking about. And to us is to make Minat know that you cannot intimidate us every time, all the time. But whether the outcome, whatever, our outcome boils back on the ballot paper, Mr. Liu. Our outcome is not like we were going to use a gun, we're going to use whatever. All in all is that our outcome and the strength will be shown on the ballot box. And I want to let Cameroonians know that sympathizers for the CRM are even more than the CRM as I speak now. I mean sympathizers. Sympathizers are even more than the number. Why? Because people are tired and need the change. Look at the road. This is from the Gurumbange here. Look at the road. If we add other factors, there's every reason that even a government member collecting money from the government with other advantages knows that in his mind he says in French, trop c'est trop. We will bring that change, come rain, come sun. It will not be business as usual. Yaoundé, hear very well. We are not speaking water in our mouth.
Okay, it will not be business as usual. So the watchword from the CRM is that people should go registering.
Wonderful.
Everything is on course.
We have said they should just concentrate in registering. They should leave the rest for us. We will handle it with Minat or whosoever wants to start on our way. Elecam is the one we know as the body that has control over elections and not Minat. So what we have been telling people is that they should not consider this because this is a form of distraction. Let them carry and mass and register and leave us face to face with Minat or whosoever who wants to thwart the constitutional prerogatives that is meant for Elecam. We will stand on the way. No one, I said no one intimidation will make us shiver. We are equal to the task.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Leonard, there is something I want to add. I said it sometime and a lot have indicted whether I belong to the MRC party. You just mentioned the Trump incident. That some time ago, Trump, everything about Trump was negative. And today, Trump has become the most popular individual. Which means that negative marketing or communication sells candidates more than any other. I don't want to go very far.
No continuation. A banned book is the most read book.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
correct.
yes. I want us to understand this.
It's the most. It will end up the most read book.
When I
Minat
see
made us popular. We were not popular. Minat made us. Let me tell Minat. Minat made us popular.
No,
please, let me come to it.
The program here is, please, excuse me. The program here is assembly, mandate extension.
Yes. No, what we are saying
is not Minat.
Yeah, when I see
you guys and Minat should sort yourselves out of this studio, not here.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, at any time you want to communicate about Dr. Ako, it will be good for you, for people not to know who he is. Talk well about him. It will end the two of you easily. If you write a bad article today that Dr. Ako is a terrorist, like well other presented, people will buy that book to read. Yes. How terrorist he is.
But the newspaper, when they see the caption, they'll go and read
They need to read that newspaper. Yes. But telling that Dr. Ako got married is no longer news. And I used to feel it for my government that a lot of people have been rendered international stars because of government actions. There is a need for us to avoid communicating people and attacking people from that stage of the government. It has given us or taken us to nowhere. When you look at the Anglophone crisis, when they came with the name cited, I don't want to talk, I'm talking of my brother, Barrister Agbombala. A lot were not aware. But today, I'm telling you that he's more celebrated than any other Southern Cameroonian. And this is it. Time again now, government is taking upon its platform to promote MRC. Can we avoid it? Because it will mean equally, if we want to sue the government for being biased, that is promoting one party against the others, obviously I might win that case in the court of law. So let's avoid calling others when we are in the same battle with them. In an atmosphere to reduce them, you instead increase their popularity. And that's what has made someone to feel that maybe those who are doing the job don't even know what they're doing. But at any point, CLTV News, the minister is talking, the words are listened in Furawa, in Kolofata, where that party has not even arrived. So you have already sold the image of that party. We should avoid it. There's no need for confrontation between government and its citizens. We are not fighting. And I'm telling you that our actions will be our history. What are we going to read? Cameroon will remain, but we will pass away. What are we going to leave as the legacy for the next generation? That we attack parties, we assassinated and maybe suffocated them, they could not participate. That would be a pass mark. That we stayed in government for 42 years, that would be a pass mark. And when others construct and build nations, we are proud of what we earn for ourselves and not what we have earned for the nation. It is sad. Come election 2023 and 2025, like I've said, everything in the law should be interpreted positively. There is no bad law and there is no good law. It will depend from the side of the mirror that you are looking at it, and stand on the right side of the mirror and see anything with the law as being positive and work with it. You can see work with the same laws like others have done. The situation in Senegal was not new, and many have done that in other parts of the world. We can still make it in Cameroon. So there is nothing bad with the law. The law is good and it has come for us. Okay, when we win the next election, we can change the laws. But for now, there is a need to work with the laws and interpret it positively in our favor.
Okay, interpret it favorably. Okay, Ndifor Richard, I hope you are still there. This law that is going to be voted, because I'm not sure MPs are going to denounce it, is going to be voted and adopted. It clears you guys, you people. Okay, he's not there. Okay, it clears the Social Democratic Front, PCRN, and a host of other parties. They are in order. Do we expect to see a coalition being formed amongst at least those who are in order today?
Well, it depends on the vision of those political parties, Mr. Kum, because at times I ask myself the question, what is the vision of Cameroonian political parties? The name opposition means that they are opposing the ruling government. It means they are there to do something better. It means they are supposed to have a common goal. A common, I will put in quote, political enemy that they are working towards shifting. So if you have that goal, it means you will make all the concessions to harmonize and synergize to achieve your goal. But with the opposition in Cameroon, I think that they have, I don't think that is their goal. I think that it looks like their goal is to put more money, I'm guessing, in their pocket. Because if they had that common goal of standing the CPDM, I think any other thing, you're going to compromise on any other thing that can stop them from achieving that goal, which means that in the negotiations, in the coalition negotiation, people will take up the right approach. People will surrender some very valuable things that they hold very dearly for the purpose of achieving that goal. Until the opposition comes to that point where they say, okay, where are we going to? Our intention is to get here. How do we get there? The strategy shows that Mr. Kum will be the one to hold hands and get there. We forgot about Mr. Kum's background. If the status quo, as of when we are sitting on the table, qualifies Mr. Kum as a better candidate to hold a hand, let's queue up behind him. They only know that Remy will make behind him. So for me, until the position gets to that point, even with the law now, as Dr. Ako is saying that this law, there are a lot of positive things that can come out of this law. We may not take, the opposition may fail, I'm afraid they may not take advantage of it if they don't plan it well.
Okay, but what do we say of these parties that know clearly that they cannot go through, because it's like knowing that this is what it takes to climb the mountain. You know that you cannot climb that mountain, yet says that you want to go. What should be their posture by now? Honestly, before Dr. Ako, I used to think that most of these people is just because of the money they used to give to presidential candidates. Because when I look at certain people who stand for presidential election, there's no way that even in their own village, I'm not sure that their wife and children will vote them. So why stand for that election? So I look at it like, okay, I hear they used to give some amount of money to approve candidates. It looks like the intention is just to get that amount, because if the intention was really to become presidents, then they would better have queued up behind those who have, I mean, Dr. Ako, sorry for taking your microphone, to queue up behind those who think that can actually achieve this. So if the intention is actually to get that position, then you need to queue up behind the qualified one. Maybe if you have other motives of putting money in your pocket, okay, maybe you have to continue to stand, even though you know that you are never going to be elected.
Okay, yeah. Mr. Leonard, there is something which maybe I just got off my mind. which means that the government machinery we are having in Yaoundé, there is a problem with that machine. For you to become a parliamentary candidate, the financial quotient is 7 million. Just jump now to organize an election in February and asking political parties to deposit their candidacy. Can you imagine how many parliamentarians people will be vying for parliamentary position? Just imagine that we have just 5 parties presenting members of parliament in all the constituencies in Cameroon. Yeah. Imagine that there are just about 350 of them. 7 million times 350.
No,
please, we are talking government.
No. For the past 25 years, no party has been able to fill even half of. It's only the CPDM.
No, you are talking. No, I'm just talking for example that there is a possibility that we have 350 contenders for 180 seats in parliament. There's a possibility that parties will present candidates. That's what I mean. I'm talking just 350 candidates.
Yes, times 7 million.
7 million. Since we don't have money.
Yeah, but how much is that?
How much are we generating? How much are we going to fight for the same election? What's the cost that you know to generate, which if we say financial cost? I was just saying,
the money is small,
we are talking of parliamentarian.
Yeah.
We are not talking of mayors. Well, yeah. I'm not talking of senators. Yeah. I'm not talking of what councillors are. I'm using one example. Yeah. Tell you. So when people sit and think that negativism is what pays, at some part it kills the nation. I believe very sincerely that if all those who go in for parliamentary elections pay that caution, 350 is even the smallest I'm talking about, because we will have more than that in other regions. So if people have to bring in financial caution, they stay too. Away from that, there are documents, authentication that are going through it. And you know what it takes in Cameroon. That we set financial. Some people are killing this country. Because if I think of the budget that process was going to generate for us in this 2025, we are simply slowed down the state budget by postponing elections. But that not, yes.
There was no balance.
Nobody does that.
Yes.
People just think first, like you said here, those who mandates have been prolonged want to make more money. And that is it. But as I said, everything that comes out from the law is always positive.
Okay, everything that comes out of the law is always positive. The CRM says nobody should be worried. Everything is very okay. You are satisfied even with the situation of the law that is going to be the bill that is going to be voted. You're very comfortable with it.
No,
because it was your strategy.
Mr. Leo,
after all, yeah.
Let me say something. The truth is that why I say we are more concerned with people to register massively. Just like what Dr. Ako said, to us, take advantage and continue doing your registration, because if we shout from now till tomorrow, we cannot change that move, because as per the law, one man proposes it, the majority in the parliament must endorse. Even some members of the opposition party will still be happy because it will put more money into their pocket. So some of them might still be also happy. So at the end of it, what do? We think that as it's going, we have said people go and register massively. The prolongation will make us to fortify ourselves more. I said more. Yaoundé will be surprised at the outcome. I've said put the elections even 2050. We'll go build now all hands down. Let me speak in pidgin. I say hands down. This is just the beginning of what they call their trembling. We will teach them what it means to unseat a regime the way they want it to be on the ballot box. Yaoundé people here very well, because very soon you will say that I've said that you go and bring on. I say in the ballot box paper will unseat everything. If you like, go and send my name to wherever you interpret are talking about. So at the end of it, we have just said that people should not bother about whatever papers come out. Bia's prolongation is a way to has kicked out Kamto. As these papers, I don't know if they have done what they call investigations, because there are captions that mislead the audience. You put a caption and somebody reads it, like some people who go and stand in front of a kiosk,
Mesa Press,
and then they just conclude stories they find there. Yes. But who told you that prolonging or not prolonging? It changes nothing. If we are not eligible and the law does not permit us to be eligible, if you like at 5 years, we will not be eligible unless you adjust the law to make us eligible. If we are eligible in the way that we can follow those provisions by the law, even if you add how many years without touching that law, we will still be eligible. So I call this distraction. Let people not bother. Go on with what you are doing. We will handle the rest. Sympathizers, get ready. They are already getting ready. We are getting close to 7 million. Before August ending, we will be already surely 10 million, I am sure. Because the way I see people rushing more and more. These are persons that before that, the competent ministry said before that people should go out. Now they are saying that it's not a must. Now they say it's not compulsory. How do you turn and you dance and you start mafia dance? Before then you were saying that it is that it is a civic duty rather. Now all of a sudden, no, it's not compulsory for people to register or to vote because the fear factor comes in. Let them dance the mafia dance. The train is a moving train. Some people have Molinex. I will not tell the machine we have. But we have a moving machine that will get to where we want to get to, come rain, come sun.
Fah Elvis Tayong.
Mr. Leo, how are you? We are in charge. We are in charge.
Okay.
Take it easy.
We want to thank you all for answering present for tonight's edition of the program. Thank you, Mr. Tazi, and to you, Fah Elvis Tayong, and Dr. Ako John Ako, and also to you, Ndifor Richard, who came in through Skype from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow is going to be another opportunity for us to look at other issues, especially touching on relationships and marriage. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.